Hello out there in YouTube land, and we're back with another Gaming Bugbears video. Now in this video I want to talk about what I consider to be a fairly recent trend. It's certainly something I've only noticed recently, however it may be the case that I've not spotted it before. Now I remember when I started role playing, all of the dice that you use in a standard game were dice that you could purchase from your everyday gaming store. And in fact, I seem to remember the first few systems I played, I scrounged up D6s from a board game. Now, this was really all you needed: your book, whatever pieces of paper you had, and your dice. Now, I'm probably too young, I hope, to be talking about the days when everything was better and all we had was one sheet of paper between 18 of us, and one dice between the entire party, and one book between all of us. However, I have noticed that recently there seems to be more of a trend towards games that use customized dice, various tokens, and board game-esque components. Now, I'm not entirely sure how much of a fan I am of this, since obviously you would have to get hold of more dice should you lose any. Components are always getting lost out of things like board games, and tokens are just another thing to buy and keep track of. Now, I can hear a few of you who've seen my videos and those who know me saying, "But John, isn't your favourite system the Fate system at the moment? And that uses tokens and it uses customized dice." Well, yes, you're right, Fate is one of my favourite systems at the minute, and it does use tokens and it does use customized dice after a fashion. However, those tokens can be pretty much represented by anything. I bought some cheap plastic poker chips from my local gaming store for virtually nothing, and they work out fine for keeping track of fate points. And in terms of dice, the actual dice are D6s, just with two blank sides, two sides with a minus on, and two sides with a plus on. As you can see, if I hold this a little bit closer to the camera, this dice was actually made by myself. I just bought some blank D6 for pennies from my local game store, and with some cheap acrylic paint, painted the plus and minuses on. I also have some dice that are actually just white D6s with pips. I've coloured two of the faces in green, left two white and two red. Green for plus ones, red for minus ones, white for zeros. As simple as that. These are dice that you can quite easily get hold of and adapt. However, what I'm not so keen on are the games that involve lots of custom dice with specific symbols on that will be very difficult to replicate. Now, this always seems like a bit of a money-making scheme to me, as do games where you're consistently required to buy more components or more expansions. Now, some of you might be saying that, well, don't you buy more role-playing books after you bought the core book? Well, of course you can do. As you can see, I've got lots of books on the shelves behind me. However, you don't have to buy them. However, with certain games that use customized dice, if you want to involve more than a certain number of players, you'd have to purchase more box set of dice. No doubt at over the odds rates, or certainly more than you'd pay for standard dice. And this is something I'm not a fan of, since I'd love for the hobby to be as inclusive as possible, to bring as many people as we can into this great hobby, and I feel that such things are just an additional barrier to it, and we don't need any additional barriers. Now, let me know what you think in the comments box below. Are you a fan of games with customized components or board game-esque stylings? Are you a fan of the older days when you only had one book and standard set of dice between you? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments box below, and I look forward to reading what you write.